The world watches, the world waits, the world sees what it wants to. This is all about the next generation building up time and time again to get up to the highest level possible. This is where a brand new era starts for racing in India, and it comes along in the form of the virtual. It's the Indian eRacing Championship here with IR Esports. We are live and we are going to be very, very rarely interrupted over the course of coverage here today at a track which many people have known time and time again for being absolutely sensational through its history, its lineage, its legacy, and now moving forward it becomes the hub of the world of sim racing. It's the Nürburgring, and it has so many times put on some wonderful battling, especially in these Dallara F3s that will be going out here today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody who is watching around the world on YouTube, on Facebook Live, on Twitch, and on Twitter as well. My name is Jake Sperry, here today, giving you all of the action here today with a lot of help from a couple of very important partners here at IR Esports. Firstly, to the Mumbai Falcons, who are undertaking several initiatives to innovate and positively impact the entire motorsports ecosystem and its related facilities. Their overall vision is to develop supporting projects which impact motorsport and the next generation automotive developments. Mumbai Falcons envisage a build to a futuristic hub aided by a racetrack which will serve as a multi-platform environment for innovative auto-related companies, provide educational excellence in a plethora of related fields, and provide for a wholesome family experience. Mumbai Falcons goes fantastically well with everything that has been going on, as well as, of course, Volkswagen Motorsport India, which launched the Polo Cup in 2010, marking their entrance into Indian motorsport. The aim was to provide a platform for young drivers to begin professional racing and display their skills on a national level. Since then, they have produced many race drivers who have progressed to race internationally. The organisation continues to groom budding racing talent into world-class drivers, recently winning the Indian Touring Car Championship licence, so that the Polo has done incredibly well as the Vento Cup, which was then the Ameo Cup at the time. And of course, they will all be looking to go back to racing with the Volkswagen Polo next season. Qualifying currently underway for you on screen at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Some excellent action. They've got 10 minutes to get the time on the board. Everybody out here on track on the iRacing simulator. So this is going to mean that once that call does expire, it means that everyone will have that opportunity to go out there and finish their laps, which are going to be absolutely fantastic to be seeing here today. We're looking from Ronald Rout's perspective at this moment. It's a very, very difficult turn number one, this Mercedes-Benz Arena, which has so many times been a key to the late 90s and the early 2000s of racing here at the Nürburgring, running slightly wide off the circuit. That will incur a 1x off-track instant point around here on the laps, and that's going to be very crucial to keep in mind here today, ladies and gentlemen, that here in qualifying you get even a 0x instant point. Your qualifying lap is going to be invalidated, and drivers have the ability to reset their car back over to pit lane, get back out on track for a flying lap around this place to get themselves going today. A couple of guest drivers here in the Indian eRacing Championship. This is one of them, and this is Federico Teixeira. 6 names for him, so Federico Duarte, Joaquin Garrocha. Teixeira will now try and go through the mid to late section of this track. Very easy to go a little bit wide there through that left-hand bend before sweeping back down through the right, following up towards Ad Van Bogen, back up the hill again and making the rise for the final chicanes. Running here today in terms of this layout, effectively the endurance layout chicane around this place, meaning that it's going to be a lot tougher today to find an overtake in the final sector of this racetrack. Everyone looks at that final chicane, and normally for Formula vehicles they take that tight, that very technical chicane. Here it's going to be a lot more about that flowing feel as drivers will be looking to put some times on the board. Currently it is Mohamed Ibrahim on top at the moment by 0.6 of a second. It's Sankit Roy trying to push for the line, and the 51.1 is a pretty solid time, goes to 11th position on that 51.1, hoping that there is going to be a little bit more time to find in the bank here today. The other guest driver that we've been looking at here in terms of the battles will be Ronnie Westerberger, that we'll be seeing a little bit more of later out on track. We're going to see Cameron right now, not currently out on circuit here at this current stage, but we'll keep an eye out on him at the moment with the Peugeot Spider Cup Championship to his name, a German Formula Koenig champion as well with 35 career race wins to his name. Amit Kuti though in second position overall at the moment, trying to improve on those lap times. 0.6 of a second margin is rather large at the moment as Ibrahim here has complete control of this session right now. Third round of the championship here we find ourselves with at the moment, so this is going to be a pretty strong battle to keep in mind. Of course, when it comes to qualifying, being at the front of the field is not a guarantee of picking up a race victory, especially over 20 minutes worth of racing that will be going on here today, but more rather it gives you the best possible chance of putting yourself up at the very, very top of the order, round the final corner, making the dash over towards the line, and a 51.6 is not going to be a shade of improvement for Amit Kuti, making that progress up over the line. So that's going to be something worth keeping in mind here, ladies and gentlemen. All of these times coming in, but the 2-minute warning coming up here in this qualifying session. We're going to step aside very, very briefly. We'll be back with more after this. Action right down at the grassroots, and many people say that sim racing is very, very similar in terms of a grassroots level, similar to karting. So a lot of people will be looking to try and get through the development system using sim racing as that new way to push on forward, like drivers such as Igor Fraga have been able to do moving into Formula 3. Niranjan Kumar at the moment has jumped up into second position in qualifying with 1 minute to go, and that has been very, very crucial in terms of the racing action we have seen in qualifying. Everyone's starting to get a little bit closer to Ibrahim up at the top, but no real chances at the moment we have seen to leapfrog and jump at this stage at the moment. 40 seconds remaining here in qualifying as Kumar makes that push through the final corner and looking to try and improve on that time. You can see just how much he's trying to use all the circuit, looking to make that push over a 49 flat, going over, but remains in the second place with just 25 seconds remaining here in qualifying. There'll be one more lap for Niranjan Kumar at this stage, a full bowing behind Ibrahim at the top, 0.737 just behind, ahead of Praviti in third, Kuti now down into fourth, and it's Tyagi there in fifth with Yedra in sixth position overall at this stage in time. You can see on the ticker down at the bottom of the screen. This is, of course, Pradhemesh Yedra at the moment, heading down through the full curve and starting to make that brilliant progress to the carousel-inspired Dunlop hairpin. Always a very difficult corner to hit your braking marker for, and getting it right. The timer has expired here in qualifying, so drivers will be looking to try and find those improvements, those final laps. And here is one driver who could definitely find that little bit of improvement. Only a couple of tenths will do just enough at the moment. It's 0 mistakes from here up the hill after the Schumacher S, the legendary Michael Schumacher's S, before hitting on the brakes here for the next left-hander. This is going to be a prime place if you're brave through the Schumacher S to try and get an overtake working. And now on the run to Adnan Bogan, we go on board here through this harsh right-hander up the hill. Always easy to take advantage of that corner, but the corner easily bites back. Now the final chicane comes up as Tamish Yedra tries to make that progress, very aggressive over that second curve, using nicely the amount of curve there on the exit, and making progress then for the line. It's looked like a good second half of the lap here for Tamish Yedra, and over he goes for a 1:49.8 remaining in 6th position overall, which was not quite what was needed. A handful of other drivers then will be looking to try and get themselves over the line here when it comes to qualifying. Currently out there on track, Chevlin Fernandez looking to try and maybe get a lap time in over the line late in the session and has jumped up to 7th position on the timing board. So Chevlin Fernandez getting exactly what was wanted late in qualifying. You can't get much later. The only other driver who can improve is Ankit Roy coming over the line, but does not find any shade of improvement. We'll be back with the race in just a couple of moments' time, because we'll be back with this. And there we see qualifying come to a close then, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ourselves looking over towards racing action. 2 minutes to grid up. All drivers will start from that place known as pit lane. It's going to be a very interesting battle down into the opening couple of corners for 20 minutes worth of racing action here in these Dallara F3s. They all look to try and put themselves on the board and get a good run today over the racing that we have going on. If you haven't realized, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a giveaway available to you here today. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook Live, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Twitter, just put a little thing in the chat here as I ask you 3 questions over the course of the races going on, and I'll give you the first one right about now. So which various race cars have been used by Volkswagen Motorsport India for racing in India? And I will give you a little hint for this one because I'm so very, very nice, and that is that you've got 4 cars to go and try and find. Put them in the comments if you can, and we can all look about getting yourself towards a fantastic prize coming up. It's so secret, it's in a mystery box. Who knows what it's going to be? Even I don't know what it's going to be. But at the moment, there is one guarantee at the moment, and that is Mohammed Ibrahim having a brilliant run in qualifying to absolutely walk away from the rest of the field in the pink, white and blue Dallara F3, looking to try and make that progress forward and make a good start. On the racing line though, on the inside, that's going to be crucial. On the outside, sorry, at the moment, that's going to be crucial for the getaway. But what's going to be key is those drivers on the dirty side of the track, on the inside, do have that chance to lunge down into turn number 1, as this opening lap could get very hectic around a track which is a little bit narrower than some, as they all look to try and get themselves ready here on IR Esports. We welcome you into the conversation. 2 minutes are up on the clock, so let's get ourselves ready. Lights are on, and 20 minutes worth of racing action starts right about now. It's a great start there from Mohammed Ibrahim, getting the progress off the line that was so very much needed, and has 4 or 5 car lengths here as they all funnel towards that opening section of track. A big lunge down the inside there. The second position, it looks like it's Kuti there who's got the move and has got everything that's needed. Everybody nice and cleanly through so far as they make their way through the Mercedes-Benz arena then for the very first time, as they all look to try and run through and have an easy opening lap here. This 90-degree right-hander goes through. Spinner in the background there, didn't quite catch who that was going on by, but 2 spinners now through turn 4. Cold tyres, always very difficult on the iRacing tyre model version 7, new tyre model version 7. So 2 spinners have really managed to open up the field quite a bit. Little wide in the battle for third. Here's a little look then down for the inside looking. Then at this stage they go on through. That's Nirajan Kumar under pressure from Saipraditi here in this battle. Can they all sort it nice and calmly? Yes, they just about can here, as it is going to be Kumar holding on to that place at the moment as they rise up the hill then after what has been a little bit of a hectic opening lap then to this event. Everybody funneling into position. Another little look there from Praviti trying to get on through. So Prithvi not quite there at the moment. Still looking, but a good run here out of the Bullsteiner curve and up the hill once more could be exactly what's needed. You don't have much time to think in these sorts of races. You've got to be on it from moment one to moment last. A look to the inside, using the toe to advantage, and that is a very, very astute move from Prithvi there at that moment in time, knowing that there was no chance to really run too wide, no reason to be aggressive in the early stages. Sai Prithvi then up into third place after the opening section of this race. Ibrahim leads, Kuti second, Prithvi third, and Kumar still fighting this one back for fourth place. There's Tyagi in fifth place, just watching on the outside, looking in. Yedra on his own in sixth position, and Samaravel's had a good start then, up into eighth position overall here in this one. This has been a very, very great start then to this race, as Sai Prithvi's done well, but it is Mohammed Ibrahim who is out in front and looking unchallenged at this moment. Can't afford to let off and run at 95, 96%. You can see, of course, the gaps between the drivers here on the just above the ticker here. We've got this driver graphic going on. You can see how fast they're going in kilometers an hour as they put on the power once again. Sai Prithvi, they're in third position at the moment, trying to break away here at this stage in time from the driver behind as Kumar tries to close on, as Niranjan Kumar is doing everything. This little 3-car scrap is going to be key to how this race is going to work. Ankit Tyagi has just been keeping quiet there in the green Dallara, just waiting for that opportunity to come along and just hoping that drivers start to run into each other. The battle is on behind though for that sixth place as Raiden Samaravel here is just trying to close this gap back down, trying to pick up this position, but again, it's going to have to be a waiting game here. They don't get DRS, even though there is a DRS board there, which stands for drag reduction system. That's for the Formula 1 style vehicles we find on the iRacing service. But Raiden Samaravel here trying to get close enough to make a move through the chicane. You're not really going to be hitting too much on the brakes. They travel on through in fourth gear through the final corner, trying to find everything possible, but by the looks of things here, it looks like this is going to be a pretty entertaining battle. But we have had a couple of drivers look to run themselves, it seems, into a couple of troubles here, and I believe Kumar is one of them who's run into a huge moment here, had a massive off there at the chicane. I believe Amit Kuti is okay at the moment, but just looking at it there, Kumar and Tyagi both going off at the final corner. I just caught them both sliding off the circuit, carrying a bit too much speed, and they both tumble massively down the order here. So Tyagi's all the way back down here in 12th position overall, and with a lot of work to do then for the second half of this event. So now as they go on forward here, 1/4 distance score complete, so you can say the 3/4 of this event going well. Yedrin out to fourth, Samaravel up to fifth, Tyagi looking down the inside there, but can't quite get past Yedav to get that one done. But Raiden Samaravel here in what is fifth position is trying to find a way through on Yedra, but not being able to find anything that works just yet. But as we've seen, cold tyres in the early goings makes this track very, very difficult here as they battle through and try and gain position one after another here, as Samaravel forced to sit in and wait behind a little bit more then in terms of this battle going on forward. What's key though today is who is predicted, so to speak, in terms of picking up this race victory overall. And well, what you could say is the bookies guide, the form choice some would say. This is who the favourite is supposedly going to be here for this race here today.
Hey everyone, this is Raghav, driver of the number 63 car. This weekend we're at the Green Hell, the Nürburgring. It's a really challenging track filled with lots of opportunities for overtaking and potential for mistakes as well. It's really technical and filled with elevation changes and different corner profiles. I'm hoping for a clean, exciting and entertaining race for viewers at home. The start will be really crucial for people to score points in the race because it's a tight turn one and people can crash.
Well, there's the eyes here on Raghav Bujiraja at this stage, trying to make progress, is in 17th position overall at the moment, so it's not quite been the best race possible. Car going wide a little bit in front, but it's side by side for 4th and 5th. This is Abdul Hadi here, trying to have this scrap, trying to get on through as they funnel in through the corner. Contact behind there from the orange card vehicle there. Sam Ravel had gone on through. Yedra had made a mistake earlier on the lap. It was Karan Kaushik there who'd run into a few troubles out on circuit there, running down the inside. We catch it, I believe, on replay, diving for the inside. The door left open, but didn't get down to the inside quick enough. And there is the casualty that everyone did not want to see in the early going. So Karan Kaushik then up into what is 6th position overall, looking to try and make some great progress back into 5th. Tries again to look down the inside, and wide went Hadi, and there's more contacts to go on through. The front nose completely missing there for the time being. They're off of, I believe, they're going on forward. That was not ideal for Sam Ravel, and now everybody's going to try and funnel in. There's 3 wide with Tiage Kupta and Teja, I do believe it is. It's Rohit Raut going side by side, but there's some dramas, huge dramas at the front of the mid-pack, of this field, and everybody going on. Tiage without the front wing here as they go on through. More contact as they funnel on by. There go the wheels on the wagon, and Tiage just about saving it there. Vehicles off left, right and centre in 6s and 7s, and drivers going to have to come down in and make a stop. We get a look here. Bjanu Teja gets down to the inside, does well, but when you don't have a front wing, you're missing that downforce. Was that wise for Banu Teja to go and be aggressive when other drivers will be needing to come down into the pits, making a stop in these sorts of battles that are going on? We go back to live coverage here at the moment. Banu Teja in 11th place still here out on track, but this field, the mid-pack changing absolutely massively. It's still Mohammed Ibrahim up front, Kuti second, VP in 3rd, Hadi in 4th, and now Roy up into 5th position. Kumar now up in 6th, Yadav in 7th, Route 8, Teixeira has moved up into 9th with Budi Raja picking up a lot of positions here, and now up inside the top 10 at the start of the last lap, was all the way back down in 17th position overall. That tells you all you need to know about how this race is going, as does that gap between 3rd and 4th places. Teja goes through the corner there down at the Dunlop hairpin. It's 16 seconds between 3rd and 4th, and there's a car off there as we see out of the exit. That's Rohit Raut who's run into troubles then off of the exit of the corner. We catch it on the slow-mo here, and it's that curb on the outside, runs a little wide, tyres dip into the gravel, and then all of the traction falls away. Tyres go into the Armco, just about able to get back going again, but there's no rear downforce now in the car, and that will have to be a case of serving a pit stop to try and get all the damage repaired. Half distance, almost there at the moment as we focus on Banu Teja at the moment as drivers start to get lapped a little bit. Here's your race leader, Mohammed Ibrahim, at this stage in time, having a really, really good run of things at the moment, running up at the front, 4 seconds clear of Kuti in 2nd position, with Prithvi there in 3rd, trying to keep chase, 2.3 seconds back of Amit Kuti here in 2nd. This is a solid top 3 run at the moment. No real breakaways, but these top 3, they'll all be trying to run consistent lap times, get into the mindset of the driver in front and try and force a couple of mistakes here and there to hope that there may just be a case of opportunities later on from unforced errors. And of course it is that Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost sort of respect at Monaco 88, where Senna had a massive lead and Alain Prost just put fastest laps in, put the mind games on, and Senna found the wall and retired from the race. Here's Abdul Hadi in 4th position, has really profited off of everyone's mistakes, has not had the biggest turn of pace in this race so far, but to be up in 4th position, you have to say that is a big advantage to that battle. 5th and 6th place just behind. Ankit Roy looking under pressure at the moment. They head through the Schumacher S up the hill. If you get a great run here, that toe is going to be so important, and Niranjan Kumar on the recovery here, thinking about diving for the inside, thinks better of it. That's too narrow there going on through, and Kumar can just breeze on around the outside without any worries at all, and that is probably one of the easiest moves. A fantastic move around the outside. You don't often see them at that corner around the outside, but when you're so narrow on the inside and you're worried about car placement, it's so easy to just snap your fingers and see a mistake happen in the blink of an eye. Niranjan Kumar then up into 5th place overall and trying to chase down to 4th. It will be a long shot to get up to the podium positions here today, but for Niranjan Kumar, it is a case of recovery here at this moment in time, and everybody will be trying as much as they can here to get themselves through. We were talking about the giveaway earlier on as Raghav Budhiraja at the moment looks down to the inside here for 8th place, gets through and gets the position sorted out. And you know what? I'll bring you a double take with all of the questions that we've got here. So answer in the comments if you have an understanding. Number 2, who was the first Volkswagen Motorsport India 1 Make Series champion? And question number 3, next Volkswagen Motorsport India Championship will use what car? Put your answers in the description and there will be a winner for the giveaway pretty soon, I would say. Great battling though for just the places inside of the top 10. Bhanu Teja here in 10th position gets a little wiggle trying to put the power down on the exit here, fighting for that 9th and 8th positions with the drivers just in front. On the brakes into the hairpin, they all come along once again as Teixeira now into 9th place, Budhiraja into 8th at the moment as they all look to make that progress here and move on forward. This mid-pack doing a brilliant job of putting themselves together, but they all stack up behind Yadav in 7th position on the road right now. So this 4-car train all relies on a lot. 5 laps to go on the timer as everybody has this great battle that's going on at the moment. Everybody trying to get as close as they possibly can to getting up there and finding that one extra position, sometimes in the mid to late race here with 5 laps to go or so. It's all about staying clean, staying consistent and thinking about the micro and not the macro. Think about one position here, one position there. That's what these drivers will be focusing on at the moment as they make that run down the front stretch. One of the prime overtaking opportunities here on this circuit as they think about maybe turn number 1 as being this place to look, defended by Teixeira slightly down on the inside, and this corner really does fall away as you all put on the power and try and move on forward. Another little look there from Teja inside of 2 isn't going to be working out there at that stage as everyone going to get or trying to get themselves moving on forward. Fan boost update. Remember, you can vote your favourite driver on YouTube by commenting their name in the comments in the screen at this point in time. So if you've got a favourite who you're absolutely loving in terms of this battle, put it in the comments. We'll have a look as Bhanu Teja again looking close. It's getting past Teixeira, who's having none of it. Yadav under pressure as well here in terms of this scrap, trying to just negotiate away with everything. It's all about defending, but there is Mohammed Ibrahim at the front of the field going through the final chicane out on track and pretty much impervious at this moment to anybody else behind. The gap up over 5 seconds here at this point in time. Well, 4.9 is pretty much 5 seconds, you could say at this point. Prithvi there in third, Kuti just staying close, but not enough it seems at this moment to really keep everything going on in the right direction in terms of these battles going out on track. So there is Sai Prithvi there in third position, a 4.5 second gap behind at this point in time, but just cannot find that next stage to just close this gap back down and get good. Here is Niranjan Kumar though. What work has he done over the course of the last handful of laps, pulling the gap back down here for 4th position out on the road, and this is going to be crucial in terms of Kumar's recovery. Remember, qualified incredibly well up inside the top 3, had dramas in the opening couple of laps, and now trying to recover this all the way back to 4th position. We go on board through turn number 3, 180 degrees, a very easy place to spin up the tyres. Then you've got this 90 degree right, but you have to use all the road and a little bit more if you're trying to be brave like Niranjan Kumar is at this stage in time, trying to chase down Abdul Hadi here in 4th position here, down the hill, through the next right-hand bend, and trying to attack the next section of the road. The key here for Niranjan Kumar is just staying close, know that he's in range to maybe go out there and have an attack, and this is going to be a little bit of a tool for them to keep at this stage in terms of this battle. While we do watch this battle going on, we do have a driver here for interview. Cameron's going to stand by as we have a little conversation with how he's getting on.
Yeah, so hi guys, I'm Kavin. I'm from Chennai. I'm doing my final year in Loyola College. And yeah, so I'm 19. My main hobbies is like I game a lot. Like I play professional esports. I used to play professional esports, but now I'm like kind of more interested towards sim racing. And so yeah, I basically focus on that one. I'm trying to focus on that one. I just got started like a few months ago.
Well, while we looked at that, the disaster we didn't want to see, Hadi coming together then through the left-hand bend, of course, with the driver behind, and that was not ideal. Abdu Hadi and Niranjan Kumar running into troubles. You can see the buckled front nose there of Niranjan Kumar's car, and that's going to be putting all sorts of dramas together for this race. You can see it right now, dive down to the inside, contact there at the apex, great heads-up drive from Kumar to take the wide line there. That was Swaraj Yadav running into troubles as Raghav Bujiraja then running into the back going forward. I have a feeling that the students will have a lot of talking to do after this event as Yadav, you can see it right now, it wasn't the easiest idea in the world, tried to cover off the line and made a couple of quick movements there, and Budiraja there just running into the back, not quite slowing the car up enough, moving on forward, and that felt a little bit clumsy moving on forward. Now Kumar's going to be under pressure here from Budiraja in this battle for 6th and 7th place. Of course, there's not much you can do when you're going to be down on a straight line because the aerodynamics are not quite in favour at this stage. There's the look down to the inside, and there's not much you can argue with. Nice block pass, and there is Budiraja up into what is now 6th place here in this one overall. Roy will be the next chase up in 5th place, but the time has been lost. It's 1.5 seconds almost now, nearly 2.5 seconds that I'm seeing right now on screen in terms of trying to catch, and there's only a couple of laps to go. Yadav is already through on Kumar as well. That damage is clearly affecting here in terms of the way this race is going for Kumar at this stage, as he will look to try and get himself as close as he possibly can to finishing this one outright. But the big issue is running around with that much damage is not ideal. At the front, Mohammed Ibrahim in full control of this race at the moment. You can't really argue against it here. Has led every single lap of this race. It's the fastest lap as well to boot. It's 5.6 seconds down the road from Kuti in 2nd place. Amit Kuti unable to do anything at the moment to chase down Mohammed Ibrahim, and this has really been the story of the mid-pack have gone to town and had massive battles here, there and everywhere. But what has all been key is the fact that it has been Ibrahim in total control with this one at the front. Abdul Hadi, though, is under pressure after that contact from behind. I wouldn't be surprised if there was any damage. Now, Roy will be trying to get as close as possibly can. Ankit Roy wanting to get on through into that 4th place. A little look down the inside. Look at that front right, though, there as they go on through. Very high wings being run by everybody here today as they look to make that progress. But what is going to be the key is they hit the brakes, they go into the next right-hander. That's a huge lock-up, and it's a big mistake from Ankit Roy, able to just about keep the car going, but at the cost of another position here. And it seems like Raghav Bujiraja here from 17th, just 10 minutes ago, is now up to 5th, and this is a brilliant charge, despite the controversy of who's made contact here and who's hit each other where. Bujiraja is up into 5th place at this point in time, having a wonderful run of things here to gain place upon place as they all fight about half a minute plus behind your race leaders at the moment. We are on the final lap then of this race. 20 minutes have gone by in the blink of an eye. We could have been finished a lap earlier, but because Ibrahim is so quick, Mohammed Ibrahim, we had 10 seconds left on the clock. You can see right now the gap, 5.5 seconds heading through the mid part of the lap. The Mullenbacher they go through at this stage. That's the name of the track down here at the bottom of the hill. Kuti in 2nd, Prithvi in 3rd, and Hadi still holding on to that 4th place, but is under pressure still for that 4th position outright. The gap half a second at this stage here as Abdul Hadi's going to have to look behind and worry here about Budiraja's charge up through the field, doing exactly what is needed here in the late stages to gain places, but not quite there at the moment through turn 3. Hopefully turn 4 looking is going to be a little bit better, but this is all set up from here to now on the final lap of this race. But it won't be long before the checkered flag will be taken as Mohammed Ibrahim takes the rise up at Van Bogen for the final time here in this one. Nobody has been able to touch him in a month of Saturdays. It has been a nice casual evening drive, and now heading for the final corner out on circuit through the 120-degree right-hander. It's round 3 taken for Mohammed Ibrahim, and it was at a canter with this race win without any worries at all. Amit Kuti will come home in 2nd position, and it will be Sai Prithvi who will take 3rd place here in this race. Exactly what was needed in terms of the racing action, but it is still on for that 4th place. Abdul Hadi is going to be under pressure all the way up to the line, you feel. A great run from Buddy Raja here through the Vorsteiner curve, and now tucked up in that toe, looking to angle to that inside, but it will soon switch back to the outside, and just like that, straight through, able to carry that momentum and trying to get back into the toe desperately. There is Hadi trying to get through, but Araja doing just enough here in 4th. Has run wide though, and that's going to open the door up here down at the inside. Is there going to be a look? No, not quite there. The door is firmly shut. Ajar it was, but Ajar not being a door will mean that that position's not there. Ankit Roy will only get 6th just behind, with Yadav coming home in 7th place then come the end. A fantastic run as the final few drivers all look to get through, as B. Cavin having a good little scrap towards the end as well. Cannot get past Federico Teixeira in 9th place. He gets 10th come the end of this one overall. Niranjan Kumar picking up an 11th place come the end of this one, as well as the final few drivers come on through. But confirmation of result, unofficial at this stage before the stewards have things to talk about. It will be Mohammed Ibrahim who picks up the win here in this one by 6.1 seconds over Amit Kuti. Sai Prithvi will take 3rd place overall. And look at the gap between the front 3 and the rest of the pack. 51 seconds back in 4th place. Raghav Buddharajada had a bit of controversy here today, but was able to really close down the positions and get on through up into that 4th place. Abdul Hadi picks up 5th, with 6th position going to Ankit Roy. It was Swaraj Yadav in 7th, with Chelvin Fernandez there in 8th place. Federico Teixeira takes 9th, with B. Cavin running at the top 10. And then it's Niranjan Kumar struggling with damage late, falling back to 11th from being up in 5th place. And Vijay Ayraj there in 12th position overall. Over the page then for the last finishers then in terms of this one, and there were a handful of people who did not have the best run overall. Prant Hamesh Yedra gets 13th, dropping 7 places. Karan Kaushik in 14th, and you got Rohit Raut. Raidan Samravel was up as high as 4th at stages in this one. Sunil Kukta 1 lap down come the end, and then retirement central for Banu Teja, Ankit Tyagi, and Divyang Dodia, as well as Ronnie Veschelberger, who was out right at the very beginning of this event early on here in this one. But we do have drivers here waiting for interview, waiting for a little bit of a chat, and we'll bring in the race winner right now, Mohammed Ibrahim. And Mohammed, that was a pretty comfortable drive, you would have to say, from you. You got pole position, fastest lap. You waltzed away with the race. You can't really argue too much about having an easier time of things today.
Yeah, hello everyone. It was a great race. It is quite comfortable out there, but the car had lots of understeer, so I have to manage the front tires quite a bit. So I had to cruise towards the end a bit to save the front tires. So was cruising towards the end. It was a great race.
Well, let's just talk about that great race for a moment, because it seemed like all of the action was happening behind you, and over the course of 20 minutes, it's normally a case of having to be dialed in and put the laps in together time and time again and make sure that you're just building a gap early. How important was it just to set yourself down into a nice rhythm, build that gap early, and then manage that gap for the middle to end of the race?
Yeah, it was really important for me to pull in the beginning because I had to really protect the front tires, and So I had to cruise to not destroy the front tires. So it was really important for me to pull initially, and it was a great start. So I got pulled quite easily.
Well, the focus, of course, moving over towards the next round of the championship with a victory like this in commanding display, you must be the one with a target on your back, so to speak. So in terms of moving forward with the next races that you've got coming up. How do you feel that this race has set up your momentum moving forward?
Yeah, it's definitely helps with the momentum. So when you win the race, you always get a bit more confidence, and moving forward, it helps you in every kind of way. So it's always good to win, and hopefully I can continue this.
Well, before we let you go, Mohammed, any shout-out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank for your victory here today?
Yes, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank the commentators. I would like to thank Mohit. I would like to thank IR Esports, Volkswagen, and whoever made this possible. It was a great event, and thanks a lot so much. Thank you, everyone.
Mohammed Ibrahim there picking up a massive victory overall. The driver who finished just behind was Amit Kuti in second position. Now, Amit, you didn't necessarily have a bad race today. You put all the pieces of the puzzle together, but it was just a case of the driver in front of you being just a step ahead.
Yeah, I had a pretty good start going from fourth to second. I actually had a really bad qualifying. I didn't make use of the car totally. I messed up my laps. But yeah, the start was pretty good. Got into second place. And then I was just trying to stay behind him and stay in the slipstream, but made a few mistakes. And that put me like around 2-3 seconds behind him. The first half overall was quite bad. He was really quick. And I think once we came to around 4.5 to 5 seconds, the gap kind of stabilized. I was matching his pace a bit, and by the end of the race, I just let go to not make a mistake, and just solidify my position.
Well, you were able to solidify that position. There's not much you can do in a race like this when you find yourself getting a good start, but again, just not kind of finding enough pace to get there. But when you find yourself now in the place that you are, a very solid second position, really is a confidence booster, I would have thought, for you moving on forward with the next rounds that are coming up. Are you starting to think now that if you continue to put a string of results like these together, you're going to be really knocking on the door, maybe even having a championship push?
I mean, I should be disappointed considering my last two races where I finished first, but it's not really a disappointment. It's actually a good result. And tomorrow it's a reverse grid, and anything can happen. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully having a good race with no incident.
Well, talking about having raced no incident, 2 wins, a second position. It's working absolutely fantastically for you at the moment. But just very, very quickly, in terms of having to build a rhythm, build a momentum, how difficult are these Dallara F3s to drive? Because people see this car as effectively one of the gateways to open wheel racing in general. But how much goes into driving one of these F3s?
Yeah, absolutely. The cars we have in the setup we use is quite understeady, especially on corner exit. But the first lap where the tires are cold can be really tricky. So if you get past lap 1 and lap 2, you can build up a solid rhythm, and you can take it on from there. But you do have to be a bit careful at the final few laps where the tires do go off quite a bit, and you get quite a bit of oversteer on corner entry and exit. So you have to be careful on that. But once you get a good rhythm, you should be good, and you should be looking for some consistent lap times.
Amit Kuti there, coming home with second position here in this race. Sai Prithvi gets third position in this one and joins me right now. Now, Sai, it was a case of looking at this race, and everyone was thinking about, okay, this could be a really close one for second on backwards, but it seemed like it was a race of the top 3 and then the race of everyone else afterwards. A lot of incidents happening in and around you, but effectively avoiding all of them.
Yeah, it was quite a lonely race for me, except for the start. I had a pretty terrible start during the first lap. Niranjan got the run on me, and I tried to get it back as soon as possible. But then later on, there was nothing much going on for me, and I lost all my race pace.
Well, pace is always one thing that's very difficult to try and gather back up. But in terms of how you could run that race, the gap between, of course, yourself and Budaraja there at the end of the race was 37 seconds back to fourth place. So obviously you had that feeling that you did have quite a large buffer margin if there were going to be mistakes out on circuit here today. But it seemed like for you, it was just a case of pick up a comfortable podium, consolidate the result, and then move on to the next race.
Yeah, every point is important in this championship. I just wanted to capitalize on my position and do what I could to solidify the third place today, and hope I can improve my race pace in the future.
And in terms of improving that race pace in the future, do you or have you managed to identify what it is that you're feeling that maybe you're struggling a little bit on compared to your rivals? Or is it going to be a case of going back to the drawing board, doing a bit of testing and hoping that you find maybe the solution that you're looking for?
I think it would involve a bit of both. I have some idea as to why it's happening. I just have to test it out again and again and find out what the problem is and become stronger into the next race.
Well, we'll hopefully hope to see you stronger and battling up for the victory overall next time out. So Prithvi picking up third position overall. But that draws to a conclusion some wonderful racing action that we have had here today at the Nürburgring. And there is so much more on the horizon with IR Esports. Make sure that you check us out, of course, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, on Twitch, and on Twitter as well. There's been some brilliant racing here today, and there'll be so much more coming up over the next coming weeks and months, and you do not want to miss it. From myself, Jake Sperry, and everyone else who has been working tirelessly behind the scenes, it has been a brilliant race to absolutely find and battle and get all moving on forward. But at this point, this is where we say goodbye. It has been a brilliant race for Mohammed Ibrahim, a first win of the season, and one in pretty commanding fashion. It seems like there's a new person on the block who wants to try and get themselves up and talking about the championship, but the leader wasn't too far away this time, and it could all very well change the next time that we go sim racing. We'll see you very soon.